Greetings, my dear beloved friends. Our next ascension attitude today is the fourth one, trust. As we offer all ascension attitudes in the context of self-awareness, according to Almin, all relationship with someone or something outside of ourselves is illusion. The only true relationship that we can have is relationship with our own selves. Last time we spoke about self-love, self-praise, self-gratitude. Today we are going to talk about self-trust. And this happened to be a more complex task than previous ascension attitudes, because it's an especially important matter. All our life really depends on our self-trust, our ability to trust ourselves. If we can trust ourselves at all, or to what extent. In order to answer this question, we need to take a ruthlessly honest look at ourselves. What areas of our lives are stable and reliable enough in which we can say that here in such and such area of my life, I'm completely sure that I can trust myself completely. For example, can we completely trust ourselves in always making wise financial decisions? Or can we completely trust ourselves that we can make wise constructive decisions on how to spend our weekend? When we don't have to work and we don't have any other responsibilities. And during the next couple of days, we can really do whatever we want to do. Some people would go to a bar and get drunk. Some people surrender themselves to all kinds of entertainment. Hopefully, there are some people that choose to spend all of this time in complete silence and self-contemplation, with a lot of sleep, physical exercise, healthy food, especially if they live alone by themselves. It's not always possible if you live with other family members, but even then you can find some solitary place, because you can clearly explain to your family members that you really need complete silence and solitude for some time. But we need to understand something extremely, extremely important here. Something that stands behind our level of trustworthiness and our decision making. First of all, how much we can trust ourselves. It's first of all a matter of our really ruthlessly honest self-evaluation. We can start with examining the areas of our lives where decision making is inevitable. We need to make decisions all the time. Business decisions, financial decisions, other decisions. Can we really trust our ability to make the best, the wisest, and most constructive decisions in all areas of our decision making? If not, then perhaps in some of the areas where we have already proven an outstanding track record in making the best, the wisest, the most constructive decisions. And then we can say, yes, in this and that areas, I really can trust myself completely. Based on my many years of experience. And how about other areas where we can see inconsistency? Where we not always make decisions that are the best and the wisest. For example, if I'm always late to my appointments, then I still can't trust myself in this area, and I will be honest with people by telling them that they should expect me to be late if any interaction with them is involved. Do we need to improve it, or would we rather decide to interact with others more sparingly, or not to interact at all? Self-honesty is the most important here, of course. But if interaction with people is still important to you, then you create a strategy how to improve this area of your people skills. Just a couple of examples of our self-evaluation in the area of self-trust, but there may be some other things in your life that you perform on the top level and they just happen on autopilot. And you don't have any even tiniest shadow of doubt that you can completely trust yourself in those particular areas. But now is the time for us to discuss something really extremely important. Decision making is really just the tip of an iceberg. what really stands behind our decision making. We understand that the level of quality of our lives totally depend on the level of quality of our decision making, on the lifestyle that we choose, or we let others choose for us. And here everything depends on the quality of information that we live by. Perhaps you heard the expression, we live in the age of informational war. It seems like there are so many sources of information competing for us, operating around us, and they try to influence our lives, our decision making, our shopping habits, our political opinions. So it literally means that not all decisions are made by people independently. Not all people think originally and make their own authentic decisions. As we explore self trust, we need to answer ourselves to the most important question. Can we really, really, really trust ourselves completely in our ability to make our own authentic, independent decisions? Or we are still influenced by outside sources of information. And some of those sources can even claim their authority over us, over our lives. And some people never had a chance to live their own lives at all, as they just follow other people's rules and commands all times, all their lives. For example, in many religious communities, is a religious person able to trust his own self? No, of course. It's even forbidden by their religions because in religions, people are expected to trust higher powers, which is some non-physical being or a group of beings in case of religion, and some physical guru in various kinds of cultures, spiritual communities. Our current task today is to make an honest, objective examination of all of those lifestyles, to identify their advantages and disadvantages, in order to make a final decision of our own. What would be the best and the most practical for every one of us? Almin's work is for those who want to be their own authorities, their own highest powers, the owners and masters of their own lives. All of Almin's teachings and tools are aimed to strengthen and enhance our life of sovereign, independent, self-reliant, self-mastery, a state of being that Almin calls my being is my sustenance. Some people, even in our community, try to conveniently forget Almin's warning about dangerous consequences of mixing her work with other people's works. For those who are so in love with Reiki, with all their emotional attachment to Reiki culture, Almin tells them at least not to use Balvaspata during the Reiki session, or vice versa. We can't force people to get rid of things, but we can provide them with true and honest information. We can't say that people can do something without explaining why. And we have some people in our community that use Almin's tools, along with keeping an altar with depictions of traditional so-called ascended masters, a shrine of Mother Mary. Sometimes they worship in a church and participate in some New Age traditions. And they say, what's wrong with that? It's all spirituality. And so many people, um, of those people suffer with all kinds of physical, mental illnesses, panic attacks, nervous breakdowns, financial issues. We can gauge that by examining those two primary areas, health and finances. They are the first that respond to this kind of lifestyle. We need to understand something very extremely important. Every religious and spiritual tradition, every spiritual practice, every spiritual technique is a program or a sub-program that empowers one of the two main programs, the master and the servant. Two main programs that exist in the world. For example, if you follow some religious tradition, you definitely worship some higher power, a deity, physical, non-physical. Traditional religions worship non-physical beings. They call them their gods. Many culture spiritual communities worship their physical deities, whom they call their gurus. And in order to operate the servant system, actually, it's not necessary to be religious. If you're not an owner and ruler of your own life, you're automatically a servant. At least religious people know who their master is, but non-religious people, non-religious servants, they don't. But if they don't govern their own lives, they are governed. No other option is possible. There are governing powers, governing structures that govern passive, indifferent, complacent people. This is how a day of non-religious servant looks like. They wake up in the morning, and first thing they do, they watch the morning news. Then a couple of videos. Then they glance through some interesting articles or so-called inspirational quotes. Then they get up and go to work. Then they come back from work and read some newspapers, magazines, maybe books, and watch TV until they wake up in the morning. Their minds are totally controlled by their lords, gods, who program them with their information via mass media. Masters don't read books. Masters write books. And what happens when someone practices religion and at the same time they try to pursue a lifestyle of independent master, an owner of his own life and creator of his own reality? He's trying to install a program that conflicts and contradicts his already existing program, which is religion. Religion is not self-mastery, it's following someone else, surrendering their lives to this someone else, physical or non-physical. There is no self-trust and self-mastery in this program. Its users can only trust their God, and it's not up to them to take care of themselves. It's up to their God. Just pray to God, trust God, and the Lord will provide. The Lord your God will take care of you. And when you try to operate self-mastery program within religious program, you create a glitch after glitch after glitch after glitch with your life, within your life, like it will be with a computer. If you try to implement some softwares that are not compatible with your operating system, your computer or smartphone starts to dysfunction, malfunction, or in some extreme cases, it may break down completely, and then it's just a piece of trash. That's why all of those wordings about non-mixing, it's not about mixing just some tools. It's about mixing operating systems or trying to use different tools with incompatible with operating systems incompatible with them. And the reason why people try to do this is because they possibly don't understand the difference between two main operating systems, the master and the servant. You are either a master or a servant of other masters. That's why those who operate in the master operating system don't pray to higher beings, gods, angels, gurus, whomever, because prayer is a tool of the servant operating system. And the servants don't create their own realities because only their gods can do it for them. The servants just need to surrender to their gods, to trust them completely, and only their gods know what will be the best for them. A servant is completely stupid and inept, and he doesn't have a life of his own. His god or guru is the source of his life. And there are benefits and advantages here. Those gods are ancient, powerful, and resourceful beings that willingly provide for those who want to dedicate their lives to them to serve their purposes. So they serve the highest interests of their gods, and their gods reward them with some well-being and even financial success. And those who are the most dedicated benefit the most. Proved by my personal experience, I can show you from my own experience how it works. In 1990s, I was invited by someone to dedicate my life to serve his interests in Russia. I heard a lot about this person, and he was very well known in some religious circles internationally as a great man of God, a great prophet of God. I was a part of an organization that facilitated his first event in Moscow in 1990, and I really witnessed real, tangible supernatural power manifested in instant healings. And the atmosphere in the auditorium was charged as if with high voltage electricity. And I was really impressed. And for me to serve such a man of God was such a great honor and privilege. So he detected my willingness to dedicate myself to serve him. And I was told that I would receive a great blessing for serving such a prophet, abundance of all kinds and things like that. And after I signed the contract, all kinds of miracles began to happen in my life. Suddenly, I began to experience significant financial success, and I became literally a celebrity in my spiritual community. I began to experience all kind of supernatural power in my life. And all that was required of me to keep those privileges was to be on call day and night and to be willing to get myself busy with every task that this man of God commands me to do. Nothing to master, nothing to create, no making any decisions on my own, only to obey and to serve. And all kinds of blessings will manifest automatically. But I was never told for how long I would be able to enjoy such life. I wasn't told that he planned to work in Russia only until 1997. It was presented to me first like something for a lifetime. And suddenly, in the middle of 1997, I noticed that the attitude of my guru towards me suddenly changed, as if I no longer existed. For the last month of his operation in Moscow, he chose someone else to replace me with. And I and my friend, we both worked for him, were thrown away as a trash. My friend was totally devastated by this turn of events. He cried big tears. He asked me, Sergey, but what about divine love, divine compassion, justice, mercy? This man of God told us that he loved us. My experience taught me something very important about life. What else to expect if we operate the servant program? My observations show that many religious people really enjoy some decent degree of well-being. Many of them have their own real estates, decent real estates, decent level of financial stability. Their gods are really willing and able to reward them for their faithfulness, proportionally to the level of their dedication. But those servants never know how long it would last. They say, we can't know this. Everything will be according to God's will. God knows, or my guru knows, what's the best for me. They don't live lives of their own. So not even one of the five ascension attitudes is accessible to them. They're not able to ascend, they're not able to evolve. They can't trust themselves by nature of their operating system. They're just servants, useful tools of their masters, gurus, and gods. And yes, they will be rewarded as long as they are useful. But only their masters know about their real shelf life and expiry date. And for their masters, they're just replaceable, expendable material. So forget about love, kindness, justice, and mercy. They just throw the expired servants away into a trash can because now they became for them just a piece of trash. So this is a disadvantage of operating the servant system, of being a servant. A servant is always an expendable material with a best before or expiry date. And a servant can't possess a level of mind to be able to know about his shelf life and expiry date because his program doesn't provide him with this information. All he can know is only information that is contained within his program. How to be the best servant, how to surrender to his God, how to obey and live according to God's will. And if a servant suddenly tries to operate according to a different operating system, the master, creator of his own life, he creates a glitch in the system and is automatically being either corrected or rejected by religious program or the servant operating system. This is exactly what happened with so-called word of faith movement within American Christianity, starting from 1970s. They started to try to live like masters, creators of their own life, but within religious system. They try to combine worshiping and obeying God with creating their reality with the power of thought and word. Those people create a lot of suffering for themselves, really. I know them personally, many of them. It's better for them to be just religious, in this case, to obey their God and to enjoy their good life filled with the blessings. Or, if they're ready, they can change their operating system to completely exit religion and to start living only a life of mastery. Masters don't pray, don't obey, don't follow, and don't serve. The other issue is with the masters that try to use the tools of the servants. As masters, they use creative power of the word, thought, visualization to create their own reality. And at the same time, they try to use horoscopes, Ouija boards, to pray to gods, Mother Mary, angels, and things like that. What happens with their lives? Like if you try to combine something incompatible with each other in your computer, it creates glitches, 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 glitches all the time. Especially if we lose our self-awareness and allow those old habits of a servant to run our lives on autopilot. Like, for example, yes, we consciously chose to be master creators. And suddenly we experienced outbreak of uncontrolled emotions. We created a glitch in our system. And then watch your health and finances. They will immediately show the glitch. Watch the following signs: continual health issues, continual financial issues, frequently losing or misplacing debit credit cards, keys, personal IDs, important paperwork, personal valuables, life seeming chaotic and out of control, difficulties concentrating and processing information, difficulties with clarity of thinking and verbal self-expression, mood swings, emotional instability, significant periods of laziness, apathy, depression, and fatigue, unwillingness to take care of ourselves and important daily business. All of those things indicate glitchings taking place. Some people have such glitches literally every few minutes, and then they wonder why they have ongoing health and financial issues. They try to visualize their reality creation, and next minute they pray to Archangel Michael or Mother Mary. Then they try to speak affirmations, to use power of creative words, and in the next second they lose control over their emotions, express anger, rage, hard feelings. All of these are a part of the servant operating system. Uncontrollable emotions indicate that someone or something else is controlling their inner space, their emotional life, and they react to someone's words or actions by emotional outbreaks, anger, rage, indignation, fury, things like that. And the next thing, they get sick or experience some or all of the above mentioned symptoms. The only solution here is to consciously choose the operating system that suits you the best. And only you know what you can handle and what's the best for you. If you choose the servant program, then stick with it firmly and don't try to be a master. Just serve your God and He will reward you with His abundant blessings. But you must know that you never know about your shelf life and expiration date. This life can be interrupted by your God at any time, at His discretion. If we are followers of someone or whatever, we need to know that our final destination will always be a slaughterhouse. The power over your life and death is in the hands of your master, guru, god, goddess, and the like. Or you can choose to be a master of your own life, then stick with corresponding operating system, the master. It is challenging, but your greatest reward is that here you are your own master. You are your own owner, owner of your life, your own highest power, your own highest authority. And avoiding mixing yourself with the servant system may seem challenging. For example, if you're a master, you totally control your mind, your speech, your body, your actions. It means that you're not emotionally involved, not emotionally reacting. You keep yourself calm and cold-headed all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't use mass media for entertainment purposes because you don't want to create glitches. Any information that contradicts information of your operating system creates glitches. You don't read other spiritual teachers' materials and you don't follow the rules and instructions for the same reasons. You don't want to create glitches because most of the spiritual teachers, unfortunately, want to install into you the servant software. As you watch them on YouTube and they tell you to follow the rules, they will teach you how to breathe properly, how to meditate properly. And if you want to try their methods, you're trapped. You're already following someone else, even just for a few seconds. It's enough to create a glitch. And now watch your health and finances. That's why a master watches nothing. He prefers to spend time either in meaningful conversations with like-minded people or just alone by himself in silent self-contemplation, writing, recording his own videos instead of watching videos of other people. I mean his leisure time, Of course, we all work. We have jobs, businesses. This is a necessary part of life. A master keeps his sexual energy under control and doesn't live promiscuously. A master doesn't live by emotions and moods. A master just knows what he should do and he does it. And he doesn't need a special mood or motivation for that. He lives by his inner information, his inner knowing. He knows what to do and he does it no matter what. A master doesn't drink alcohol, doesn't use recreational drugs, and doesn't watch porn because all of those activities are part of the servant program. Historically, those activities were popular among slaves. Promiscuity, alcohol, drugs, religion, and opium for the people. Servants live by moods, emotions, and instincts, and they need sensual stimulation and motivation in order to be able to function. The moment we look at someone lustfully or watch porn, even just for a few seconds, or if we had a glass of vodka, we would create a glitch in our system. And all signs of the environment will show it to us. Health, finances, some strange, dangerous people on our streets or in public areas, to mention just a few. You will know immediately by the change in your environment that there was a glitch. Environment begins to malfunction. The problem is not the selected operating system by itself. The real problems are glitches that happen every time when we try to combine two incompatible operating systems. When we always try to switch back and forth from system to system. You chose the system, stick to it. And now, as a master, you can start working with self-trust, only if you're a master. Take an honest look at yourself and see which areas of your life are completely trustworthy, partially trustworthy, or not trustworthy at all. And we create strategies for improving those areas. I understand that this topic is huge and we just scratched the surface, but it's enough for one video. We are here for you and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Our contact information is in the description to this video. Talk to you soon in 2 weeks.